Hello and welcome to the Accountant's Movie Review, where we sift through popular movies to find those accounting hidden gems within, which other movie reviews have almost certainly left you without. This one we're going to be talking about Shrek the movie, which of course includes Shrek the character, which is this guy on the left-hand side. As you can see, Shrek is an ogre, and the plot of this movie, the main plot of this movie being that Shrek has a financial difficulty that he's got to overcome throughout the movie. And we actually start off with his financial position at the beginning, the financial problem happens, and then he's got to deal with that throughout the movie. Now there's going to be some other subplots that happen throughout the movie as well, including he's going to get a new best friend, which is kind of a big deal for him because he doesn't have any friends. And he's going to have a journey, and he's going to fight a dragon and become friends with a dragon and whatnot. He falls in love somewhere throughout the journey as well. So those are all some kind of subplots that are kind of interestingly woven into the movie. But of course the main plot and the thing that people are most concerned about and most interested in will be the financial position and his movement from his financial position at the beginning and overcoming that financial goal. So because that is the thing that most people are most interested in, that is the thing that this channel will most focus on, because we are interested in giving people what they want to see within a movie review. So the movie actually starts off with a list of the financial assets. Basically, it's going to give us his balance sheet as of a certain point in time, the beginning of the movie, where he starts off before giving us the financial problem. So the list of assets is going to include his home. Here's going to be his home here. That home is an asset that is located on another asset, that asset being the swamp. So here's his swamp. The swamp includes a nice lake within the swamp. So it's a kind of a swampy lake, but it's a nice lake, and it's got a lot of fish in it, apparently. And he's got a very efficient and effective way of fishing, if unorthodox way of fishing. And if you haven't seen the movie, it's probably worth watching just for this introductory scene, including his fishing technique. He also has another asset, that asset being a book of fairy tales. And apparently, after being sick of whatever being available in a swamp to use, he purchased the book of fairy tales as toilet supplies. And the movie actually starts off with Shrek sitting down in the smallest room on his property, reading a book of fairy tales, and the page from the book of fairy tales before him. Shortly thereafter, the page will be behind him. Now, you might be asking at this point in time, there's kind of a flaw. If you've seen the movie, you know there's going to be a bit of a flaw in here, in that we know that there's going to be this financial journey. We know that they've listed out the assets. That's nice, being they've told us what he has. He's got a house, he's got the land, the land has a nice lake on it, and he's got the toilet supplies, and that's all good. But the question that everybody asks when they watch the movie is, why don't you give us some numbers, right? That's what everybody's clearly looking at it saying, why don't you give us some numbers? It'd be really nice and really pull things together if you gave us some financial statements with some numbers on it. So I'm going to try to fix that right here. I'm going to start us off, I'm going to apply some of numbers, I'm going to put some numbers to the house, put some numbers to the toilet supplies, put some numbers to the land, so that we have a kind of a financial position starting as we go through the rest of the review here. So here's the balance sheet. So he's got basically his assets over here. We're going to break the assets out between current assets and property, plant, and equipment, more long-term assets. We're going to assume that this balance sheet happens as of the point in time, the beginning of the movie. I'm just going to say it's June 1st, once upon a time being the year. We don't really know the year. So as of that point in time, at the beginning of the movie, I'm going to say he's got cash of $990. Now you might be saying, well, I didn't see any cash. You didn't list cash. Well, I'm going to assume he's got some cash hidden, that it was under the house and we couldn't see it, but it's under there, under the house. Where did he get the cash? I'm going to assume he scared people and got cash. Now, he's a pretty nice ogre. I don't think he beat anybody up and took the cash, but he scares people a lot for an ogre. Ogres do that. And people probably dropped cash, and he might as well pick that up and put it, under the house or something. And so I'm going to assume he's got $990. Now, it's not dollars, it's going to be shillings, so we have to put it in shillings. 990 shillings, that's easy to measure, that's what he's got. Then he's got the book of fairy tales. That's going to be the toilet supplies. And I'm going to say that book is 10 shillings worth. Notice we can't say one book. We got to say it's something within shillings, like dollars. I'm going to say it's within 10 shillings. Now, you might be asking, why am I talking about the book of fairy tales before I talk about something like the land, which is kind of more important? Why wouldn't we list the land first? Well, note that the book of fairy tales, like the cash can be used more readily to buy things. The book of fairy tales will probably be used more soon than the land. Therefore, it's going to be something that's going to be supplies. It's going to be used up soon, unlike the land, which is going to be used for a longer period of time. So, depending on his diet and his regularity or whatnot, he's probably going to go through the book fairly quickly. So I'm going to put the office supplies here, or the toilet supplies here. So we got $990 of cash and the supplies 10. We're going to say he's got total current assets of 1,000 shillings worth. We put it in terms of shillings. Then the property, plant, and equipment. Next section, why are we breaking it out separate? Because the land and the building are going to be more long-term assets. We can't really sell the land as easily in order to pay for current debt. Not that he has any, but if he's got any problems, can't really pay for the problems with the land too easily. So we're going to put that out down here, less current assets. So we've got the land. I'm going to give a kind of an arbitrary number of 8,000 here, shillings. Once again, note that we have to say the land is going to be in terms of a dollar amount or shilling amount. And then the building is going to be 4,000. I'm going to put 4,000 on the building. Just kind of made those numbers up. Why do we have two different numbers? You might say, well, when people buy land and building, they buy at one time. They're going to be a group price. How are we going to break it out? Well, note that the building's going to deteriorate over time. It might take a while, but it's going to deteriorate downward. The land doesn't. It's not like the land is going to, go away at any point in time. Even in an ogre lifetime, it's probably still going to be there. Land's still going to be there. The building is going to deteriorate over time. Therefore, we're going to have to depreciate the building. We do not have to depreciate the land. So we're going to break those out. I'm going to say 8,000 plus the 4,000. He's got total property, plant, and equipment of 12,000. The 12,000 plus the current assets means he's got total assets of 13,000. Now he's got a pretty humble place here, but he doesn't have any liabilities. He doesn't have a mortgage or anything. That's nice. Therefore, all the assets that they have are basically his. It's all equity to him. That's the book value. And therefore, the assets equal the liabilities plus the equity, 13 and 13. Now, going forward, next time we're actually going to take a step backwards and we're going to say, okay, here's where he's at. Let's make some assumptions on how he acquired these assets. We're just going to have to make some assumptions to get to this point in time. And then we'll move forward with the financial problem that happens through the movie. And the financial problem, I'll let you know right now, is he's going to have a dispute as to whether he owns this property with Lord Farquaad, who apparently thinks that he does not own the property, have property rights here. And that's going to be the problem that he's going to need to overcome.